Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Bedford. Nick and Astor, Steve Beals with you from the Beals Insurance Studios. It's FNL Rewind presented by Beals Insurance, a full season recap, a championship edition of the weekly show as we say goodbye to the 2020 NHIAA football season. Nashua North, if you have not heard, they took care of business on Saturday. They are the Division I champions. We will talk about the season coming up in about 15 minutes with Dante Lorende, the head coach. And then at 5:30, Curtis Harris Lopez, a household name by now, star quarterback for the Titans, joining us on the show again at 5:30. And then we wrap things up at 5:45 with Robin Boquette of Sauhegan. We also have Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph standing by. We'll welcome him in just a moment. But a quick programming note, at 6:30 tonight on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media, a 17-minute highlight film will debut live at 6:30, and then, of course, it will be archived on our channel after that. Again, that's FNLNH Media at 6:30, a 17-minute highlight film. 49-21 was the final score. Nashua North capturing their first championship in school history. They took a 7-0 lead in the first 2 minutes of the game on a pick six from Harris Lopez and really extended things throughout the first half after that. A 35-14 was their advantage after two quarters. 49-21 the final after three, and that ended up being the final score as the Titans run the table. 3-0 in the regular season, 4-0 in this postseason tournament. Steve, impressive the entire way through. A team to remember in a lot of ways, really.
Absolutely right. I thought I saw, the best I was going to see a decade with Londonderry last season, but this team this year rings very parallel to the quality of that team, and probably have seen one of the best athletes we're going to see for a while, as far as, or certainly it's hard to imagine someone having more of an impact on a team than Curtis Harris Lopez, but I really want to call out the whole team, coaching staff, and all the way down. So knowing that Tom King here is, I'm going to keep my comments brief because I'm looking forward to hear what his thoughts are, Nick. But yes, they were solid all the way through.
Yeah, Curtis Harris, by the way, 13 carries, 118 yards on the ground, courtesy of Tom King, who joins us now. Tom, of course, of the Nashua Telegraph. Tom, good evening.
Hey, guys. Hey, now it's my turn to ask one question.
Sure.
Does the Beals Studios, Beals Insurance Studios, have like an employee, lounge and cafeteria and all that stuff?
You're welcome to come up anytime, Tom.
Really? Oh, that's not bad.
Matter of fact, we're a lot more hospitable here than they are down the Tom Pound, because the Tom Pound's just been off limit for a year.
The Tom Pound's been off limits because of COVID. I mean, I
know.
Shut it down.
I'm going to go run down and get my vaccine just so I can go.
Exactly. Right.
Tom, what do you think of this Nashua North team? You've seen a lot of football over the last few decades. Where do they rank? Not just, obviously, they're the champs this week, but, I mean, where do they rank amongst some of the other champions that have come through New Hampshire and in the Division I region the last few years?
It's tough for me to say that. I don't want to cop out, but it's tough for me to say that because of the fact that, when I was covering a lot of high school football, as far as championship football, was mainly at Girton in Division II, all the way through their dynasty run. I wasn't covering the national teams back then. In fact, I didn't even do the North teams that lost in the finals back in 2009 and 2010, or the South team that won it in 2008. I don't know why that was. I guess I think I was doing Girton, and I think Gary Fitz at the time was doing the national teams. So, but I've never seen a player. Now I covered all the Pinkerton teams in the heydays. All right, we're going back to the 80s and 90s, where they had all sorts of talent, running back talent, and everything else. But in my time covering Nashua teams, and I also covered the '97 the Unified National Championship,
right?
The one school that beat Londonderry in the mud at Holman Stadium.
That's right.
And called that game on radio, by the way, play-by-play. How about that?
There you go.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was the voice of Nashua.
You still are, Tom. You still are. Don't worry about it.
But Curtis Harris Lopez is the best player I've seen. I mean, in terms of making the plays, once he turns the corner or gets loose and gets a step on somebody and is just gone. And also having a nose for the football and having the toughness to take the hits but also give the hits. The best all-around player I've seen, you know. Now, we'll talk about his college situation. Holy Cross is a great fit for him.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. I mean, there's a lot of college prospects around the state, but they're mostly linemen in my mind. So, but with this team, I think this North team believed that they had a shot at it last year, and when Harris Lopez got hurt, that hurt them. That hurt their chances. And I think the difference this year is I think they made a conscious effort in the off season and going into this year, even not knowing whether they would be in this year. Dante Loretti made sure that there were other horses in the stable. You know what I mean? He had other players that he could go to do certain things. And so they didn't always have to rely on Harris Lopez. And I noticed that after the South game, even in the second half of the South game, if I remember right, when the season started in that opener, Harris Lopez was the guy, he touched the ball almost every play in the first half. And I don't think that was the case in the second half. They started to develop more guys and have more guys do things. You had Anthony Green, you had Ryan Mwangi, and as we saw on Saturday, you had Isaac Smith.
Right.
So, I mean, there were some other things that they were able to do, other players who were able to make plays than just Curtis Harris Lopez. But don't get me wrong. You don't have Curtis Harris Lopez, you're not beating Goffstown on Saturday. So, in my mind. But you'd be in the conversation a lot more this year, as opposed to last year when he went down. So I think that was one of the things that was different about this team.
Tom, Travis Holbrook, Liam Novak, Max Ackerman, Spencer Whiting. This is quite a crew. And if I missed anybody, believe me, it wasn't on pro. How about is it Mesrak? Mazik.
Yeah. Well,
Let me tell you
something about him. Let me stop you for a second, Steve. Let me tell you about
yes, sir.
Mesrak. All right. That injury hurt them more last year than Harris Lopez did.
He's something special.
Because he solidified that line as a center. He knew all the plays. He knew everything else. When he went down, and they had, you had Jaden Espinal step in as quarterback, and Espinal could make some plays. But the problem is you had a new center and a new quarterback.
Yeah, that's too much. The whole battery. Both batteries are gone.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, that's way too much.
Yeah.
But they loved this kid at center and thought that he was just the glue to that line. And we know how good that line was last year, and we know how good it is this year.
Yeah,
all those kids that you named, all of these kids, hopefully, I don't know what the future's going to be, but hopefully they haven't played their last football game.
Yeah, I don't think the vast majority of them have, and I think they've probably got some attention. There's a lot of film that they would have been looking at for Curtis and maybe Max. And I got to tell you, the other guy I want to talk about, there's two other players other than I want to just shout out for those linemen because this is a team. Nick and I were trying to, we're doing some analysis of the game. It was really about the broad-based stepping up that took place in that team, and I give a lot of credit to the coaching staff there. But the other, let's talk about Espinal the last 3 or 4 weeks, what this guy has meant to. And I have one other, guy, too, I want to talk about at the very end. But real quick, Espinal, this guy was on rocket fuel the past 3 weeks. He is just been unbelievable, and he's done his job.
Yeah, the thing is, and I know you saw a couple of those games at Stellas where he really turned it on and made some big plays, made some big catches, made some big runs, and made some big defensive plays, interceptions, things like that. Two-way player, no doubt about it. And he was really into it. I mean, there's no question. He was really, really into it. I did a story on him about a month ago.
I read it. Yep. Yeah,
and this is a kid who, and he may have played his last game. He didn't seem too gung-ho about playing in college. I just think that he was just into this team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he was from what Lorendi would tell me, he was and I watched some of this kid's emotions. If he didn't make a play, he wouldn't wouldn't like it too much.
No.
You know, he was a perfectionist on the field.
I really grew to understand how close these guys were. You see them all talking.
Really close.
Curtis is just one of the guys. He's a great player. I mean, he's obviously going to hit some. You know, he's going to Holy Cross. My gosh, that's a great thing for a New Hampshire athlete. Great thing for him educationally. The whole thing. Curtis is. But you know, I think Curtis's character and quality of who he is as a football player on the field is part of the reason why he's going to a school like Holy Cross, because I saw him looking at meeting with sophomores, talking with them. He's more than just a fast runner and a great football player. He has the intangibles as well, and that kind of feeling on a team. I'm sure I know I've read your articles, and I know you agree with that. Before I give it back to Nick, I just want to talk about the starlight power that I saw developing in that game, and it always happens as a whole cohort goes out. And I'm talking about Toby Brown Jr. Wow,
boy, he's something else.
Holy
he
smokes!
Out of nowhere in my mind, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean he's you get him in the weight room in the off season, he's already just a real specimen athlete.
Sophomore,
and he's a blooming sophomore.
Right.
I mean this kid is Coach Lorende is going to have some fun with this guy for the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's going to have some fun with a few of those sophomores.
Yes,
but that's the thing. They missed a class.
Yeah.
They don't have many juniors.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't.
And that is and when a program misses a class, usually it comes back to haunt you, for a year or two.
Yep.
Probably for a year.
But those sophomores are going to get a lot of opportunity to play next year, which is going to give them the experience they need moving forward.
And they had opportunity to play this year. They played pretty well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you're going to have to replace your whole line and everything else.
Yep.
So, I mean, but the sophomores, once they're seniors, are going to be really something else.
Well, I'm sure this means
it's a great group. I mean, you saw Finley.
Yeah. Oh, another. Just you keep naming them. Yeah, what a broad-based support.
Pass, and he's going to be competing with Peters, Jack Peters, who made a lot of defensive plays. He's going to be competing with Jack Peters on the other end of the ball, on the other side of the ball as quarterback. So, I mean, they know their plan going forward, but they would have probably liked to have had a few more juniors, be in the mix. I mean, Smith came back. And he had sat out a year because he wanted to focus on track. He's a speed guy, and that's probably going to be his college route. So, I mean, they need a few more of those to join the fold and get that number up in terms of upperclassmen for next season.
Well, Nashua North got the hardware in the glass. Pretty sure. I'm sure it's already in there now, and. We send congratulations from Friday Night Lights out to all those players on that team. They've given Nick and I and Ben and all of our team such a joy to watch, as having you has been every week, Tom. Best of luck in the off season.
Thanks. That was a fun team to watch. It was a fun team to cover, and they made it through all the ups and downs of what the coronavirus brought us this year in terms of whether to play or whether to not play.
Yeah, so much more to. I mean, I wish we had an hour with you, Tom.
Right.
Salem. I mean, Nick and I were talking about, right, Nick? We were talking about Salem.
How
Go ahead.
Salem is, right? Well, we will, I'm sure, pick up this conversation a few weeks from now once basketball season dawns, and we can begin to focus on more COVID-19 challenges at that point.
So let's hope it's all going the other way.
All right. Thomas, thank you, my friend. We appreciate you jumping on with us all season long. And, again, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Have a great holiday, Tom.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy that holiday meal out of the Beals cafeteria, okay?
We will.
Enjoy it.
Tom,
Thank you, sir.
as always.
Thank you. That, again, is Tom
Thanks.
King, and he'll be eating those turkey leftovers for about a week and a half, I'm sure.
Tom covers it. Tom, it's hard to beat him. He covers it. He's just so aware. I saw him down the end of the game, with players aside, just getting the beat of what's going on, and does a terrific job for the Nashua Telegraph. And, boy, Nick, you always get him here. And every time you tell me that Tom's coming on, I always enjoy it, just like Roger and all the rest of them.
That's right.
Yep.
All right, next up, Dante Lorende, the head man himself. He's got the ring, and he's going to talk about it with us next. You're watching FNL Rewind, presented by Beals Insurance. FNL Rewind is presented by Beals Insurance. Locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Call Steve at 603-471-9999 today. I'm Nick Anastas with Steve Beals. Coming up tonight in about an hour and 15 minutes, 6:30 Eastern, we will debut a 17-minute highlight film from Saturday's Division I championship game. Of course, that game was won by Nashua North in convincing fashion over Goffstown. 49-21 was the final. We'll speak with the senior star, Curtis Harris Lopez, who was just magnificent in that game and all season long. He'll be heading to Holy Cross. We'll talk about the season and his future plans with him in about 10 minutes or so. And then Robin Boquette of Sauhegan wraps things up with us at 5:45. But joining us now is Dante Lorendi, head coach of the now champion Nashua North Titans. Coach, congratulations and welcome inside FNL Rewind. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, guys. Thanks again for having us and all the coverage provided all year. It was outstanding.
No problem. One of the first questions I always like to ask a championship coach is what the celebration entailed. Tell me a little, or at least what you can tell us publicly. Take us over the last couple of nights, Coach. I'm sure it was a big load off your shoulders and just a great moment, I'd imagine, for you and your staff.
Yeah, it was great. It really was awesome. And, I think as a head coach, you always have a picture in your head of what it's going to be like, and I think it lived up to everything in my head that I envisioned. And first of all, to see our players as excited and as happy as they were, and I think they had to kick us off the field at Bedford because we were there for an extra hour. And he was taking pictures. Just the kids were so excited, and it was great to see that. And for me personally, just to be able to hug our coaching staff and dealing with all those guys have been through and how awesome they've been the entire year, that was outstanding. And then to hug my family after the game was just amazing. So it was lived up to everything I thought it would be, and I'm so proud of our kids, and I'm so happy that they've earned this and get to experience that, and just to see those guys be as happy as they can be was awesome.
49-21 the final. Running clock, Coach, in the second half. You went up 7-0 on a pick six just a minute 20 into the game. I mean, it looked like the stars were aligned for your club on Saturday. Were you surprised, frankly, on how dominant your club was, given how good Goffstown was coming in?
Well, yeah. Obviously it's I don't think I was ever comfortable until, the clock hit 0. But,
right.
But to have those things and those, pick six, 2 defensive touchdowns, and a kickoff return, those things help your cause. And I was very surprised. They're a great team. They were physical. They moved the ball on us, and that's the stuff we had to do in order to pull away. And fortunately, it happened.
Coach Steve Beals here. Thanks again, and obviously congratulations. Just briefly, what does this mean to this new Nashua High School? There hasn't been a championship since the school split. They certainly both, North and South, went through their building process, and now Nashua, as a city, and specifically Nashua North Titans, have a championship. What was it like putting that inside the glass?
Yeah, it's great, and you mentioned is Nashua has a great history of athletics and a great history of football and a proud history. And, it's still kind of like people still haven't adopted Nashua North as a Nashua school. And understandably, I get it, there's a long time Purple Panther pride, and I met my wife as one of the great Coach Fabula teams and won basketball championships with them. So I understand the great pride and tradition there.
Mm-hmm.
So to have this and to win it as, the only Nashua North football and to establish us as a program that's tied in, I think it's great. I think it's great for identity. I think it's great for the city, and I think it just extends to the city's great athletic traditions.
You know, one of the things that I briefly mentioned it with Tom, and take nothing away from Goffstown. One of the things that really touched me was after the game, the vast majority of their fans were clapping for you guys, and I think that showed a lot of class from the Goffstown families that came and watched that game, and the excitement, obviously, walking down the stairway. I wasn't going to go out on the field. You guys were all having too much fun, but I did sit there, and I kind of like the Russians watching the 1980 hockey team. I sat there in delight, watching the celebration and just the pure joy that everybody was going through. And I saw the coaches coming up to you looking to get a hug, that they wanted it for you, and I know you wanted it for them. But it was just a wonder. I'm not surprised that after we left, you guys were there and had to wait to get kicked off the field. But, you know, when you look at the way that game progressed, and one of the things you said to me after the week before was, wow, Salem is a great football team. When you look at that and you look at Goffstown and Salem and you guys, I mean, you are the champions. There's no question that you guys are the champions. But, boy, when you look at the box scores, you do realize, looking back, how good Steve Abraham's squad was.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know, I don't think the score this week was indicative of.
No.
I mean, that's an outstanding Goffstown team.
They did not give up.
Make some plays. They're great. I mean, I can't say enough about their
I can't either.
And their running back and how tough they were physically, and just all their kids to play as physical and as hard as they play. You know, mention their fans. They've established themselves as a premier football town.
They have.
Top to bottom, there's tremendous pride in there. So, you know, whenever you're playing, as we said, if you're playing in the semifinals and the finals, you're playing great teams.
Yeah.
And you know, again, going back to Salem a couple weeks ago, that's Salem. It's you know, you're not going to play a Salem team and get anything less than your best and a physical football team and a bunch of tough kids. And you know, I think it's great now at high school football, as you're seeing this pride in these communities.
Yes.
It's old school kind of football. These towns are rallying around their high school teams, and people and the kids are believing in them, and they have great coaches and great tradition, and it's exciting for the state.
Yeah, we are Americans, and that's what we do when times get tough. And you know, when we can rally around the football and everybody can have that hometown pride again, I certainly hope this thing goes ablaze. And coming into next football season, we have that same spirit going forward, and hopefully things will be a lot better and easier to at least to be able to get on the field. But I do think that people realize how fortunate we really are, and the fans that you guys had in Nashua were just, I was watching them. It was really great to see. As far as you know, I don't want to talk about the future, but boy, sometime we got to have you back on and talk about some of the players that are coming back that just did great. But right now it's time to celebrate about the players that are going to be going off into college. And I mean, how do you replace a Travis Holbrook, Liam Novak, you know, Max Ackerman, Spencer Whiting, Zach Mazik? I mean, I just watched those guys just block with and even tackling with precision. I mean, the handwork, the form, the coming out, firing out together as a squad, hitting their blocks. I mean, how in the world do you get a group of guys like that? Because they're a big factor in you guys winning that game.
Great question.
You got your work cut out for you.
You know, you just try and that's what makes it special is, you know, it's them. It's the kids. It's the kids buying in, believing, playing for each other, doing the things for each other, understanding that, you know, playing together, we could accomplish special things, and believing in each other and being unselfish. And that's the trick you get here is how do you get your team to buy in and have that mentality?
Yeah.
And to do that and to realize, you know, we're better together than we are playing individually. Special group, and that's why they accomplished a special thing.
Yeah, I mean, Cunningham and Espinal were just phenomenal. The last three, when playoff time came, they're great all year, but when playoff time comes, these guys just. One of the things that Tom King says, one of the things he told me in the beginning of the year, one of the things about Nashua North is they're going to hit. and you better be ready. And it took a team like Salem and Goffstown, you know, to be able to stand up to it. And of course, Londonderry to a certain extent too. But you guys made it painful to play, and they just so. I don't know what else to say. We don't have enough time to go over it, Coach. But it all starts at the top, and I know you're probably sick and tired of me saying this, but you deserve, as the head coach, all the accolades that come with this team. It's difficult to have. It's great to have a guy like Curtis Harris, the best player in the state, but also puts a lot of tremendous amount of pressure. And the thing that really proved to me what you were able to do with this team is, aside from Curtis Harris, not that that's not enough, but it's the body of the team that played extremely well deep into the lineup, and that says a lot for you and your staff. So you're going to have this to look back your whole life. You're going to be 70 years old someday, and you look back, it's still going to be special to you, and you deserve every minute of it. Best enjoy the holiday season. It's going to be sweet turkey come Thursday. I'll hand it back to Nick.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Steve.
Coach, one more before I let you go. We've got your star quarterback joining us on the other side of the break in a few minutes, Curtis Harris Lopez. You have now coached him. That's done. Your relationship, I'm sure, though, will endure over the next couple of years, if not forever. What can you tell the audience what it was like coaching such a tremendously talented player?
I can't wait to listen to see if you can actually get him to speak, which is probably more the reason why he's one of my favorite players. It's not what he does on the field; it's that he doesn't say much, and that doesn't happen often in high school. But I was listening earlier, and I think Tom King said it, and I got texts from people I've coached with across the state in different places, and I think everybody says the same thing. And it's he's not just a great player in the state of New Hampshire. He's a great high school football player.
Yep.
And I think people that watched him play, it was quite evident. This kid's a special kid, not just a football player. You don't get into Holy Cross if you're just an average student. You don't get into Holy Cross and recruited by all these schools if you're just an okay kid. The kid's a special kid. The kid is, for the talent that he has, is about as humble as they come in this day and age. I think high school kids, I've been around coaching for a while, and a lot of times you get your best players, your most arrogant kid, and I think a lot of kids in school don't like him because he's arrogant, and he comes off and rubs people the wrong way. Not this kid. This kid is well liked by everybody in the school, well liked by his teachers. His parents have done a phenomenal job of keeping him humble, and that's not an easy thing in the day of social media that we have today. So, and that speaks volumes to him and his parents, his upbringing, and his teammates. And I think you guys were talking about it earlier. He's Curtis Harris to his teammates, and they know how good he is, but they're also right there by his side. And that was the greatest thing about this year.
He seems very accessible. You know what I mean, to the younger kids, and he and Max are talking all the time. They're always wind up side by side, and you can tell they're chewing each other's ear off. You say he doesn't. They seem to have a really solid relationship with each other.
They do, yes, and they have a great relationship, and that goes back from playing youth league together.
Yeah.
And, being close and having the same understanding. The same thing with Max. Big expectations from Max from the time he was a first, being a big lineman. So those guys have been great because, when there's a lot of pressure when you're expected to be the best, and you're expected to have this presence and be the guy, and that's what made not only Curtis but all those kids, special this year is they met the expectations, and they were great, and they played unselfish, and they played for each other. And as I said, I mentioned it earlier, my coaching staff is unbelievable in the job that they have done. They deserve all the credit, with the players. They were just amazing year in and week in, week out.
Buy that line coach dinner. Oh, my gosh. Precision blocking. Precision. Just outstanding.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Coach Savolos kind of knows what he's doing a little bit.
Just a bit.
I'd say.
You know, offensively, Coach Savolos, Coach Harris,
Oh, yeah.
in game, and I said this to former Coach Roby just the other day before the game. I said, you know, just our coordinators, Chad Savolos, you know, Zach Harris, Kyle Tate, in game. Game calling and adjustments and what they're seeing, that's been amazing, and being able to put guys in the right spots, and you know, our whole coaching staff was awesome.
Coach, congratulations. Continue that post-championship celebration, Coach. It only comes around once in a while. We appreciate your time, and thank you again for joining us all season long.
Thanks, Coach.
Again, as I've said all year, guys, thank you for what you do for all these kids. It's so special, not just our kids around the state. It's first class. So thank you, guys.
We got more coming. You know, Nick and I and Ben have more coming. Trust me. We're making some investments.
That's right.
Great. Hey, looking forward to the video.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Have a great
That
holiday.
again is Dante Lorendi of Nashua North. All right, the wait is over. Curtis Harris Lopez on the other side. You're watching FNL Rewind, presented by Beals Insurance. Back here at the Beals Insurance Studios, it's FNL Rewind Season Finale Edition. We'll talk with Robin Boquette of Salhegan, the Sabres, fresh off their 2020 championship in Division II. Coach will be on in about 10 minutes or so. But right now, Curtis Harris Lopez. You've heard about him. He's the Nashua North superstar, the senior quarterback who had 3 touchdowns and over 100 yards again on the ground in that championship win on Saturday. Curtis, congratulations and welcome inside FNL Rewind. How are you? Curtis, you still there?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, there he is.
That's
Thank you
okay.
for having me on today.
Thank you. Take us back to Saturday when it was all said and done. You guys were big winners, and it looked like everybody down there was ready to party, including the players and the coaches, jumping around, hugging. I mean, how big of a moment was that for you personally, winning that championship on Saturday?
I guess you could say it's like our NFL Super Bowl.
Good one. I agree.
Yeah, everyone was locked in this week, especially with it being our last game of this season, and we're all seniors, so it meant a lot.
I'd say in that regard a little bit bittersweet, right? I mean, you've been in the trench with these guys for the better part of 4 years, and now it's over with. I mean, what was that feeling like, kind of balancing those emotions after the game?
There's a lot, especially after last year with the way it ended. So this year was our revenge tour.
Yeah, take us back to last year. You guys, I think we're 8-0 when you got hurt. Is that right? You got hurt in the regular season last year?
When I got hurt, yes, we were 8-0.
Yeah, and then you wound up, I think, 9-0, and then lost to Merrimack in that quarterfinal. It must have been frustrating for you to have to watch that loss to Merrimack. Tell me about from that point on, with the offseason, with, as you said, the revenge tour. Obviously, COVID-19 comes in and throws in a little bit of a monkey wrench, but how big of a determining factor or a motivating factor was that loss last year against Merrimack?
So the main goal was pretty much just to get healthy at the moment for the following year. So that's what I did. I went to rehab pretty much every day until my knee was right. And then during the off season, I lifted a lot, gained about like 15 pounds. And then with Coach Harris, I threw a lot because word around the state was I couldn't throw, so I had to prove everyone wrong. So I threw a lot. So we at least had another weapon to use against people rather than just running the ball. And that's what we did, and we followed through with the championship.
Yeah, no question. Tell me a little bit about the COVID-19 experience. We've heard a lot about it from players, from administrators, from other members of the media, but not really from any players. No player on air. So how difficult of a process was that, not just as a football player, but as a senior in the high school itself? I mean, how difficult of a process was this the last 6-8 months?
It was pretty awful the way things kind of went down. With all the schools being eliminated through COVID and having the 2 week, I believe, protocol it kind of cut your season down pretty short. So I'd rather have every team, so there was no excuses whether this team said they could beat us or what. But it wasn't that good.
Curtis, Steve Beals here. Hey, thanks for giving us all such a great look at some great football with you and your teammates. It was just magnificent to watch. I agree with you on your passing game. When you were on, you can fire a bullet, and you're extremely difficult in the pocket. And then as soon as you move out of the pocket, it just gets worse for the defense. I want to talk about that, ask you a quick question, Curtis. One of the things that I noticed that you have a lot of skills on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. But, as Nick and I have watched the game, I've commented on air many, many times that you tend to lull the defense in as you're breaking outside, either in one direction or the other. And then there's almost a sixth sense that you lull them in and then you just turn on the gas. Are you thinking about that as you do it, or is that just a God-given thing that you just comes? I mean, you know what I'm talking about because, tell us about that. What's going through your mind as you look at the edge and say, hey, can I beat this? Because you're just magnificent to watch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Most of the time, it depends on the wideouts and the way they block. So usually, if, say, we're having a stretch right play to my run to the right, it'll be depending on Lucas Cunningham's block. If he pins the guy inside, I'll try to run inside as much as I can and then go outside and use my speed.
Yep.
Or if he pins him and pushes him outside, I'll just hit the gap.
Yep, hit the off tackle and sprint. Right. It's really, really a lethal weapon. And when I look at the kind of speed you have, Curtis, at Holy Cross, it's going to come into it's going to be a real value to you. I want to talk about Holy Cross a little bit. Let's forget about all the great education you got. I think you've made a magnificent choice for you. And I hope to be able to maybe get down and watch a game. I've got a couple sons that'd be more than happy to ride Jack with me to go down and watch you. But good luck on that, first of all. But are you going down there with an open attitude about offense and defense, or is there one specific thing you think that either they want you at or that you feel most comfortable? Which side of the ball? Because very few college players, Division I, play both sides because they really want all your time on one side or the other. What is it that you see yourself excelling in the best and would enjoy the most?
Both sides, to be honest with you. It doesn't matter to me which side I play.
Yeah, you just like it all.
I was recruited at first as a safety, and then along the road, obviously, with the way I played on offense, there's been some questions from the offensive side that I could be useful on that side of the ball, as well. So
yeah,
I guess it's up to them.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because if you like it both, what does it matter, right? You're going to excel either way. Let's talk about your friends that you've been playing with. I understand from Coach Lorendi, a lot of these guys you played with at the youth level. I see you over there with Lucas Cunningham, and I see you over there with Max Ackerman a lot. Looks like you guys are really solid friends, but you're always talking on the sidelines and stuff. Is it game stuff, or is it just kind of keeping each other loose?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, I see you talking to Max Ackerman an awful lot. Are you guys talking football, or are you talking about just kind of keep each other loose and,
Both.
Both.
Usually when we first come out, we'll talk about how things went, how we played.
Yep.
And then usually down I guess as time goes down, we'll just keep loose.
Yeah.
Me and Max are very, very good friends outside of football.
Yeah, you can tell.
We've been together a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say to Travis Holbrook, Novak, Whiting, Max Ackerman playing quarterback behind those guys? They did a terrific job for you. You must be going to miss those guys at moving on to college.
I'll miss them all. They did a great job this year, obviously giving me time to do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I can't thank them enough.
Yeah.
Well, next up, Curtis, it looks like it's basketball time, right?
Yes, it is, if we have it.
Right.
Looking good so far.
So far,
we're
so
hearing
good.
Things. Yep.
Fingers crossed for sure. And I'm sure Ben and I will be in the gym to see you guys play. How big of a title or how big of a dream come true would that be to take one on the gridiron and then take one on the championship front on the court as well? Is that a little too much to hope for at this point, or is that realistic?
Never too much.
That's right. All right. We appreciate the time.
Sure do.
Good luck down there in Worcester next fall. Good luck, obviously, this winter as you suit up for the Titans as well. And obviously, congratulations on a memorable season and a memorable championship. We appreciate the time, Curtis. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the radio.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, that again, Curtis Harris Lopez. He'll be featured a lot in tonight's 17-minute highlight film, Steve, which is coming out in about 45 minutes.
Dante said you might have trouble getting a word out of him. I'll tell you, this guy's...
we loosened him right up.
Loosened him right up, and really appreciated his commentary. Very astute. He's going to be a solid student and player and teammate at Holy Cross.
I'll tell you what, Holy Cross won a pretty good bidding war. You bet. For sure. There were 6 D1 offers on the table, but in the end, it's the Crusaders who win the prize.
They win the prize, but I'm just thrilled for Curtis because he's going to come out
he
with a
wins
great education.
The real prize, right?
He gets the real prize. Going to get a solid education, and you can tell why all of his players love him because he's very, very, very calm, very cool. But boy, there's a battery pack in there that's got some major league faults.
I think you struck on a good point as well about him being accessible to some of the younger guys.
Huge.
On the team. That is not, and Coach Lorendi touched on that a little bit, that is not typical. Some guys are too cool for school, so to speak.
Yep.
And, it was the more popular players that said, you know what, put the ego aside, come on under the wing, let me show you how it's done,
like what
youngster.
you do with me. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about that.
Seriously, no, he is a special guy, and it was great you could get him on, Nick. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Well, we thank Coach Lorendi for hooking
that
up. All right, Robin Boquette is on deck. Sal Higgins, they are the Sabres are the kings of Division II. We'll talk about that season with Coach next here on FNL Rewind, presented by Beals Insurance. FNL Rewind is presented by Beals Insurance. Locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Call Steve at 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com. All right, Robin Boquette is on the line with us. The Sauhegan Sabres took care of business in D2, 26-21 over Plymouth to win the state championship. Coach, congratulations and welcome inside FNL Rewind. How are you?
I'm awesome. I appreciate you guys. I've been thinking about this. I think you guys need to rename the show.
Uh-oh.
We're all ears, Coach.
We're sitting down, Coach. Go ahead.
What are you thinking?
I think you're missing out on a big opportunity here. You need to rename it Stevie Nicks Friday Night Lights, New Hampshire. Right?
Wow. You think that'd boost our viewership, Coach?
Wow.
100%. You would get 70s classic rock people zooming in. You would broaden your audience now.
All right.
I don't want someone wandering into the studio thinking it's Woodstock, though.
Yeah, you doing marketing? You do marketing during the day, Coach, or what?
I feel like I'm marketing all the time.
Well, we got Stevie and Nick.
Yeah.
And now we got
I got you.
Coach Boquette.
Now, how did I get into Stevie and you stay Nick? How about Nicky? Stevie and Nicky.
Coach, take us back to Saturday. You guys fell down 7-0. As you told us off air, Sauhegan ate up nearly 7 minutes of that first quarter clock and kind of put their blueprint on the game, so to speak, early on. Your team was able to react after that point, but at that point, late in that first quarter, before your team had even touched the football, you're down 7-0. What were you thinking at that point in the game?
Yeah, I knew that we'd make our adjustments and our guys would kind of get comfortable getting into the game and seeing what they're seeing defensively. Funny, I had told, I don't know if I told AJ, our quarterback, or D coordinator, because sometimes offense coordinators in the spread system, they feel like that they get impatient and they worry that, oh my God, they just had the ball for half the first quarter. We need to score right now.
Right.
And sometimes that offense coordinators tend to get impatient with that. And then I remember saying I think our quarterback, hey, we just take what they give us. We'll move the stick, stay on schedule. We're going to be fine. And then, of course, we end up scoring on the first play from scrimmage. And I did not see that coming.
Yeah, well, I guess it's a good problem to have, for sure. Then again, your team faced adversity in that fourth quarter, trailing 21-20 with just outside of 5 minutes to go. But your guys rally and found a way. As my old coach used to say, you find a way to win games. It appeared like you guys found a way to prevail 26-21. Take us through the final 5 or so minutes on that come-from-behind drive.
Yeah, I mean, it just showed obviously the resilience that Plymouth had been in. You know, they've been in tight games many times before, and so have we. And you know, our kids, you know, just they buckled down. They you know, when they knew when things are, and it's been written about, but they knew adversity is going to hit. It wasn't going to be easy. They had to believe. And they Charlie Miked, and they brought everyone aboard, and everyone was like, "Let's go! We're going to do this. Let's roll!" And you know, that final drive, you know, I was yelling something like, "Hey, we need a championship drive right here," and was thinking it'd be more of the lines of, you know, a 10 or 12 play drive, and it ended up being a 4-play drive,
Yep.
which certainly those things certainly help out too.
Yeah, and they got the ball back, Coach, right? With some
They
time on the
did.
clock. Yeah, and then you intercepted it, right?
Yeah, we gave them the ball back with about 3.5 left or
Yeah.
so, and then they tried like a toss pass, and our corner had great discipline, just sitting back there, wasn't fooled, and went up and made the play, and we were able to generate 2 first downs, one of them on 4th down.
Yep.
And we're able to take a knee with Plymouth not having any timeouts left, and that was great.
Yeah, I watched the game, Coach, and exactly as you said it, this is really 2 very well. Coach Sanborn, boy, I'll tell you, he's
He's a pro.
He's a pro, and we to be able to see such defined individual styles clash with each other, and then see that back and forth go on. It was just a terrific championship game. One of the things that I've watched your team you just got a great secondary. You got some guys with some height that can cover some ground. What can you say about the secondary? They come up big for you. They've been doing it all year long.
Yeah, Jake Savillo has had some timely interceptions for us. He's all a 6'3".
That's Steve's favorite player, by the way.
Well, I mean, he's just really impressed me against BG, and I've seen him on film since. And he does seem to lull the quarterback into thinking he can't recover, but he's got the whole thing done. He knows it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for sure. I think he tries to bait quarterbacks at times.
Yep.
Which is probably what you're looking for, and and then our other guys are just great complementary players.
They are.
Reese Colby's like one of the greatest competitors I've ever been around, and then our free safety Mitch Hauser, wants to get close to the box, wants to get in the action, especially depending on what coverage we're in. But he got better as the season went on as well, and I can't say enough about those guys. They had a ton of interceptions this year. We, I haven't gone through the, all the self-scout yet, but I know that our turnover margin was like plus 11 for the year. And, it's a huge testament was our defensive coaches and Brandon O'Connell running the DBs, and, just a great team effort.
One of the things that Plymouth does is they hide the ball so well. Their backs go in multiple directions, and the quarterbacks are well trained. But I thought your linebacker, you look at some of the scores that Plymouth had against other teams, and there's no question why you guys are the championship. I thought your linebacker and defensive line did a great job. You're not going to stop them from, you're not going to goose egg this team. No. It's not going to happen. But I thought your linebackers did a terrific job and stepped up big time when they had to, as well as the defensive line, giving them vision, and with big number 77 and crew.
Oh, for sure. It starts with Mike Maroon in the middle, 44, and Nate Fritz. Those guys just do a great job coming downhill, reading their keys, getting their guard pulls, and defeating blocks. And then outside linebackers, Tony Garrett, Riley Longhorn, they do a great job setting the edge and declaring things in the backfield. And just like D-line with dudes like Alex Karpowicz, Will Boyle, and then some great complimentary guys inside, Ryan Charest, Big Dexter Healy, Jackson Weisberg. Those guys were phenomenal for us all year. When
you came out with your game plan, Coach, did it work? As you were working towards building your game plan during the week and then throw in the halftime adjustments you made, at least on the defensive side of the ball, did it go kind of the way you wanted it to go? Was the flow of the game, as you were coaches saying, we're not going to kill these guys, but we got it? Did you get that feeling that the adjustments you made in the second half made a difference?
Yeah, I think that we were searching for answers. They were doing a great job.
In the first half, right?
Yeah, they were doing a great job at shifting to tight end, wing, and then bringing. They went unbalanced there. So they
unbalanced a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they had an O lineman at tight end, they had a wing back, and then a running back, and then a fullback behind him, and then they were running Bannon on that Q sweep, just kind of crushing us in the boundary.
Yep.
And we just made minor adjustments. Where we're going to put that boundary at the end. Do we boss the backers? Just minor adjustments like that. And, we kind of felt okay about, hey, they're going to get 5, they're going to get 6. We need to be patient and make them make these long drives.
Right.
And, and then next thing you know, it's hard to sustain that in any level of football, but especially high school football. So, there's at some point they're going to possibly have a penalty. At some point, hopefully you're looking for a turnover or a takeaway. But if you get a negative play on first down or second down, next thing you know, it's 3rd and 9. That's not the world that they want to live in.
Right.
So, we were able to kind of get them in a few of those. I think we forced them to punt about 4 times, and just enough to keep them off the field. If it wasn't for me being too cute in the third quarter, when we had a chance to put it away, it might have been not that close, but
but you were home, Coach.
It was a great football game.
You were home. Nothing wrong with trying to put it away at home. It didn't work out, but the guys stepped up. And talk to me about Coach Bellevue. Has he been behaving himself the last few days?
Yeah, of course.
Tell him we said congratulations.
Oh, for sure. We all enjoyed each other's company on Saturday after the game, and we had some great moments. We had a really great moment on the field. And kind of a great feel-good story. So I haven't seen my brother since like Christmas, and he was a senior captain on that field when they won their first title in '04. And then I'm walking out at halftime, and my brother had flown in and he's standing right there next to my dad, and
wow.
He basically surprised us. And we kind of for us to win at home, it's my first championship as a head coach. Kind of came all full circle.
Yep.
And it was just like a really good kind of feel good moment, and with him and with Coach B, and it was just a spectacular weekend.
Well, Coach, I'll turn it back to Nick, but my warmest congratulations, and it's a shame either one of those teams had to lose that game, but you guys got it done. You did what you had to do, and that all started back in the fall when you were able to get going. You obviously must have had a very good week of practice to beat a team like that. So congratulations, and no one can ever take it away from you. Best of luck in the offseason. You bet, bud.
Absolutely. Same thing from me as well, Coach. Congratulations again. Special time for you and your staff, for sure. We appreciate your time with us all season long. Thank you again.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you guys for what you guys do for New Hampshire high school football. It means a lot.
We appreciate it. Thank you. That again, Robin Boquette of Sauhegan. The Sabres end up unbeaten, 26-21. They're winners in the Division II championship.
He articulated his adjustments, Nick, in the second half, especially as it moved on towards the end of the third quarter. And although they did go back up again, they did slow the machine down. There were times when you could feel Plymouth becoming Plymouth, and that's a dangerous thing. And I think the adjustments they made were the difference in the game, and they had some big individual efforts. I still say having tall defensive backs like that and the recovery speed that the Civiello and crew can make was the big difference at the end. And, when you need a drive, Coach Mike Bellevue is not a bad guy, but underneath the hat, calling plays, and he did a great job there.
Right. All right. Want to thank our guest tonight, Tom King of the Nashua Telegraph, joining us pretty much every other week or so throughout the season. Same thing with Roger Brown of the New Hampshire Football Report. Those two guys are as in tune with what's going on, not just with football, but really with other sports as well, all season long. So that they're a big plus for what we do here on FNL Rewind. So thank you again for Tom for joining us tonight, and Roger all season long. Coach Lorendi, who has really just been, I guess we've been penciling him in the last month or so following big win after big win. But, of course, Coach never complained and always made time for us on a Monday night, so we appreciate that. Curtis Harris-Lopez, a very, very good player and perhaps even a better young man. We appreciate his time tonight and his candid answers with us. And then, of course, Robin Boquette. He's a player's coach, a player's coach for sure. And Sauhegan riding high as the 2020 champions. All right, a programming note again. Coming up in about a half hour or so, the debut of the Division I Championship highlight film. It's 17 minutes long, and it has all the scorching audio and video to go with it. So Ben put in a lot of work with it. Check it out tonight live. We debut that at about 6:30 Eastern, about a half hour or so tonight. And, of course, you can watch it anytime after that on the archives, all on our YouTube channel. That's FNLNH Media, short for Friday Night Lights New Hampshire. Again, FNLNH Media. And, of course, the broadcast was brought to you all season long by Beals Insurance. Locations in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Call Steve at 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com. Steve, the last word is yours.
Congratulations to Curtis Harris for a great educational endeavor he's going to embark on. I'm very, very happy for both coaches, but I do want to call attention and just say a quick word about the Goffstown Grizzlies and the Plymouth Bobcats. I'm sure it hurts. I know it hurts. But I got to tell you, you guys made it to the dance. And you gave the effort that I saw, the individual players, the game that we saw, especially because we were doing the Goffstown game. You're all going to have the Goffstown Grizzly group, especially you seniors going on. You guys have got a great future if you continue in life with the attitudes in which you played that game. A lot of teams die when it gets that, they just die out, their heads hang. Not you guys, and your fans have a lot to be proud of, and very, very proud of Coach Hammond to come in like that. What a great job that he and his staff did.
Yep.
Goffstown football is going nowhere, and you ought to be very proud. Same with the Plymouth Bobcats. Coach Sanborn had those guys sharpened and ready to go, Nick. And
right there on the doorstep.
And right there on the doorstep. I'm sure it hurts. And then lastly, I'm going to take a little bit of time off, but it is for a while, and I'll be watching you guys do basketball. You and Ben and company do the basketball game. Has always been an honor to be by your side, Nick, this football season. You are a true pro, and it's just great to work with you. So I'm looking forward to it in the future.
Likewise. Absolutely. All right, folks, we thank you as well for tuning in to us all season long. We'll be back this winter with FNL Courtside as we bring you not one but two live games per week. That is the plan as of now in this ever-changing COVID-19 environment. But that's the plan, and we hope it comes to fruition this winter. Again, we'll be on most likely Tuesday and Friday nights with basketball coverage throughout the state of New Hampshire. So we look forward to that. All right, that is it for Ben Beals, Steve Beals. I'm Nick Anastas. Saying so long. This has been FNL Rewind, presented by Beals Insurance.